Yo.
Yo.
Pigeon.
This is episode. Dun, 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 dun. Yo, this whole episode, we're going to talk about the Simpsons predictions.
But what has the Simpsons really predicted?
Dings. My dings.
Have they, though?
Okay.
Okay. Let's get to the shits.
Let's get to the shits.
All right.
Okay.
We'll cop your No Condom podcast t-shirts, by the way.
And cop your blank tee fat boy shirts, too.
Hey, cop those. Those are hotter.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
yo, get that off.
Get that off? Pause.
All right.
Okay, so we'll start off. The first thing I got written down, you know the Sigfrid and Roy? You know how he got attacked by the tiger, the white tiger?
Not necessarily.
Okay, so this happened in 2003. This happened.
Okay.
So in a Simpsons episode in 93, 10 years before, there was an episode where Burns had owned a casino, and they had this circus kind of act that was performing for the people that had a white tiger, and the white tiger attacked one of the people that was the circus people organizing the whole event, and then Sigfrid and Roy is a famous people in Vegas. That they do this event where they have this tiger and they do all this shit. So then Roy, he got attacked by the tiger in 2003, but the exact same thing happened in the episode in 93 of The Simpsons.
Okay.
So we were saying how the media can kind of push things into existence, but that's just a weird one. How
that's kind of crazy.
So they predicted that. What do you think about that? Right there.
That one, I don't know if I necessarily have a thought on. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Okay. So
But I will grab my booze. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Dun, 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 dun. And The Simpsons has been a long show. It started in 89. They predicted a lot of things, and I just wrote down a couple key things because there was a couple things that people could have seen from the Simpsons episodes, and then had them happen later on.
Yeah.
One thing I didn't write down in my notes.
Well, that's one thing I was gonna ask. What's stopping?
But the first one, the Sigfrid and Roy,
that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, they're not gonna plan that.
No.
That's
kind of crazy.
Okay.
So get on with your shit.
Okay, so the second one I got is the FIFA corruption in 2015. There was a big thing with because we live in Canada, and in Canada and the United States, everywhere else in the world, what we call soccer, it's called football, is the biggest sports.
Yeah.
In the world, right? So then the FIFA World Cup. There was a corruption thing in 2015 about they were taking bribes for people so then the World Cup can be held in their country.
Yeah. So
then it came out and a lot of people got a lot of lawsuits and a lot of things happened. But and that happened in 2015. There was an episode in 2014 of The Simpsons that predicted that exact same thing. And the corruption, and in the episode, they predict that Germany will beat Brazil.
No, and don't tell me that happened.
And that happened.
The Simpsons already needs to chill.
They predicted the corruption, and then they picked out who was going to win.
That's crazy.
So
all right.
were the Simpsons writers privy to information that the public wasn't known to
Well, we can get into that after, but
right?
Continue with some more facts you got here.
Okay. So the NSA.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the Simpsons movie. the whole town was covered by like a biodome.
Yep.
So then Marge and the kids broke out.
Well, it's almost like what China's doing right now, right?
I don't know.
Wasn't it China that said that they're building a fake sun or a fake moon to help block pollution?
Oh, I don't know.
Either way, continue.
Okay. So in the movie, they break out. And then when they're on this train and they're talking about things, Marge says, hey, don't say that out loud. They're probably recording us.
That's like 1984, George Orwell.
Okay, so...
But continue.
So then they explain how... And then right after they say that, in the episode, it cuts to show the NSA headquarters and them listening to all these different conversations.
Oh, yeah.
So then it came out, somebody came out and admitted, that somebody that worked for the NSA in 2013, that they were recording all these things. They weren't necessarily listening to everything, but they were recording everything.
But they were spying.
But they were spying in the exact same way. So that came out in 2013, and the movie came out in 2007. So that was 6 years before that it actually that the information came out.
Okay.
This is getting crazy. Like, what do you think so far?
Well, I can give my opinion on it, but I want to hear more. Because to me personally, I think Hollywood, on certain degrees, presents us ideas that us as society would be opposed to or uncomfortable with, and they push it as a norm. So by the time they're ready to push it through an agenda, we're comfortable with it.
So you know how, like, as of like right now, the government has stuff that
to me, it's not even the government; it's corporate entities. But
like, they have technology right now.
Yeah.
That we have no idea about. That won't come out.
No,
publicly for
like the American
years,
military has technology at least 5 years advanced from us, if not more. So like when we first started having touchscreen cell phones in like 2010, they were using touchscreen computers in like 2005. You know what I mean? Like we get accessibility after they basically learn a way to monopolize it and control it. Like think about Snapchat, man. You get all these filters on some girl's face and shit. Think about all the times it meshes that face with that outline and reads it. You don't need a fingerprint anymore because you got facial recognition.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, all this shit is Orwellian, but let's continue with The Simpsons.
So this one, the Higgs, boson, how do you say B-O-S-O-N? Boson? But anyway, it was named after, like, this thing that was named after this guy that predicted... Now, one guy predicted, this guy, Higgs boson, predicted that this thing could exist in the 60s, okay? But scientists have figured out, couldn't figure out how mass worked because they couldn't find the particles that gave other particles mass, okay? So in an episode in 98, at one point you see Homer in front of the blackboard with an equation, and he's writing things out, and you see the equation on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, scientists figured this out how they figured out how mass works. Like this is some very like scientific. They figured out how mass works in 2012, and if you look at what the equation that Homer had written down on the blackboard is very, very close to the exact equation that they figured out in 2012. So, like, not even only they're predicting, like, some media type stuff, they're predicting, like, scientist stuff, too. Like,
wow.
Like, the like, if you look at the blackboard, it's very, very close to what the actual equation is on how they figured out how the mass works.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
So another thing here. Okay, so in an episode in 97, they have a episode where the Simpsons go to New York, right?
Yeah. Is it the Baba Kanush episode?
I can't remember.
Where Homer gets the fucking thing stuck on his car tire.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah. And
Baba Kanush and crab juice and
Barney like leaves his car. Right by the World Trade Center, right?
Yeah.
So when they're, I think it was when they're leaving New York.
Yeah.
And they have this like magazine that says like $9 for a tour around New York. So it has the 9 right in the middle, right? And right beside the 9 is the 2 towers.
No.
And it has...
So it like reads 9/11?
It reads 9/11.
No.
And this episode came out in 97.
Wow.
So that's 4 years before. 4 years before 9/11 happened.
What about them predicting Trump while he's going up that escalator?
That's another point I have here.
You have that down. Yo, Eddie's on his shit for this episode. Let's just say that much.
So, I'll skip right to that.
No, keep it going.
Oh no,
right.
I'll bring it back to this other stuff. But yeah, so in an episode where I think it's called Bart Travels to the Future or something.
Yeah.
So he travels to the future and Lisa is president. And this is like which episode was that? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So this episode was in 2000, right? Way before Trump even thought about, like, you can even 2000 is a long time from when Trump got elected, right?
Yeah.
So in the episode, Lisa is the president, and she says we have to fix the economy from what Trump did the previous years beforehand.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, do you think the Simpsons are like what's going on in that writing room?
Well, so you're gonna get me all in my crazy bag.
Let's get it, cause I got some more stuff. Do you want me to just go through all of it and then we'll talk about it at the end?
To me,
or do you want to just go through
Hollywood will predict to you ideologies that are going to happen in the future to desensitize you to them. Like, if you never watched I, Robot, would you be ready to go to a sex doll brothel of all robots?
That's a good point.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
Hollywood desensitizes you to these ideologies.
If you've never seen it in movies before or in TV.
Yeah. It's like if you never went to Pornhub and seen the stepsister get banged by a stepbrother. You might think that's nasty. And then once you've seen it, you might be like, yo, I want to fuck my steps. But you know what I'm saying, right? Like, they desensitize you to these ideologies. So, to me, with how much The Simpsons has predicted, because before you even brought it up, I was just like, that's a great idea, because even I myself was privy to a number of things that they've predicted. And
I
and that's not even to touch on half the shit you talked about.
I just wrote down like some main points.
Main points.
Yeah, that I've seen. Like, there's a lot that they predicted.
To me, it's the same kind of thing. It's like you get people used to what may become the social norm in the future and desensitize them, right? It's like...
You know what this does, though? It almost makes you want to go back and look at old Simpsons episodes and see, like...
Fuck yeah!
Like, what have they predicted that hasn't happened yet?
It's like going back and listening to Illmatic the first time and catching a bunch of rhymes you never caught when you were 16. Right. And being like, whoa. It's like The Simpsons right now.
Yeah, it's crazy how he brought it to Nas because he had Nostradamus. And Nostradamus predicted, like, fucking... shit. That's crazy how you just brought that back to Nas. That's crazy. Yo, you know what those fuckers predicted though? And like my phone, like my
Nas. You would compare The Simpsons to Nas. Yo, Nas though. All right, keep it going.
So like my old phone when I used to type, like it used to be really good with my autocorrect, and then this phone right here, it fucks up my autocorrect all the time. But The Simpsons predicted autocorrect.
No.
Yes.
The fuck
Okay.
out of here. They predicted autocorrect.
Okay. So you want to hear this?
I do.
Okay, so
I don't know if I'm necessarily happy about it, but I want to hear it.
Okay, so they're having like what do they call that at the schools when they have like the people come up and the students perform
Like volunteer?
like in front of the whole school or whatever like that, like a thing where like kids perform in front of like a whole school and the school watches, right? So when this is happening,
Talent show?
something like that. So this is an episode 94. So the bullies, like in like the Simpsons, like say they write down on this like almost looks like an iPad kind of thing.
Yeah.
But they write down "beat up Martin," and it naturally changes to "eat up Martha."
Oh, yeah, I remember this.
But autocorrect wasn't even around in 94.
True.
Autocorrect first came into play in Microsoft Word 97.
You researched that, hey? Damn.
Yeah, I googled that after.
Chill, fam.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like I wanted to be on my shit over here.
Holy shit.
So like yeah, Microsoft Word 97 was the first time that autocorrect was introduced to the world.
Okay.
But it was in an episode in 94, 3 years before.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Another thing, FaceTime. Okay, so like
FaceTime is crazy.
so like sci-fi things have predicted like you can talk to people through videos for time, right? So when I first seen that one, I was like, okay, whatever. I almost looked right past it until I seen they predicted the year that the technology was going to come out, and they predicted 2010. And that episode was in 95.
Damn.
They predicted that they predicted the year 15 years before. Now, like that image or whatever like that has been in sci-fi things before 95, right? Old movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They have video things, but for them to predict the actual exact year that technology came out for everybody else, that's crazy. And hold on, that's another thing too. You're saying how you get people prepared for these things. What if they already had the technology already set up before 2010, but this is a way of kind of preparing people for it? That's one of the things that could be preparing people for the actual thing, right? Because they could have had that technology. Who knows? Like we said, the government has technology that we don't even know about yet, right? But I thought it was kind of weird how they predicted the actual year. So another thing. Okay, so in the election in 2012. There's actually, like, they used electronic voting systems. And this is where people had to vote for Obama or Mitt Romney. And there's actually video footage of machines changing people's votes. Like them trying to click on Obama and it going to Mitt Romney. And that election was in 2012.
Wow.
The Simpsons had that exact same thing happen in an episode in 2008. So that's actually how the presidencies work. They run 4 years terms. That was actually 4 years before that actually happened. That's a weird one, eh? How it's like the presidency term is working 4 years. The Simpsons predicted that this is going to happen 4 years before that. That's creepy. So I only got one left. But yeah, these are big ones, eh? Like, but this last one's kind of funny. You know that from The Simpsons, the three-eyed fish. The Simpsons came out in '89. The three-eyed fish was a thing in 19 90 in one of their episodes, right? In 2011, a fish was pulled out of a water near a nuclear power plant that had 3 eyes. By a nuclear power plant. And in the episode 90, the fish came out by a nuclear power plant. So that's like 21 years. 21 years before that they predicted that the nuclear power plant would make this 3-eyed fish. And that's a big one. That's 21 years, bro. So that's all the ones I written down. Now, like, there was other ones that were kind of like things could have happened. Like Lady Gaga obviously took her thing from The Simpsons when she performed at the Super Bowl. I don't have the years written down for that, but there was a Simpsons episode where there was a Super Bowl event and Lady Gaga was performing, and she came out like on this big string thing, and like her outfit was a certain way. Now she was in that episode, so I assume she seen the episode, but she came out and did the exact same thing later on in real life at the Super Bowl thing. So she used The Simpsons to inspire her to do her Super Bowl performance. But yeah, so like they could be putting these things out there just so people would get used to the idea of some of these things happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like that's all the predictions I have right there. But that's a lot. What do you think is the craziest one? I think to me, that super scientist one. Like, Homer actually almost had the exact equation of like how mass works.
Yeah.
And then them figure it out years later that that's very close to the actual real thing. That's one of the craziest things to me.
Simpsons is crazy like that.
Yeah.
I can't even hate on them for that aspect because it's so on point.
So yeah, it definitely makes you want to go back and listen, like watch other Simpsons episodes and be like, what else did they predict? Right. And like Simpsons is, correct me if I'm wrong, is that the longest running
sitcom? I believe so.
Sitcom?
Yeah.
Yeah. So shout out to the Simpsons writers. You motherfuckers are crazy.
That's fact. That's fact.
Yeah, and I want to meet you and shake your hand and just like be like, I want to ask you a couple questions myself.
And spit on it.
I just want to ask a couple questions myself, like, like. But yeah. So, you got any last things to say about all that craziness or what?
Nah.
And like, I haven't heard about any other shows having super crazy predictions. I haven't heard about any shows. If you know of any shows, let us know in the comments. And yeah. And this is episode. Yo, what other show? Before we wrap it up, there was another show. If you look at their intro, it's very Simpsons-ish. I'm brain fritting right now, but like how like the flow of like the Simpsons intro when they're going through the city and shit like that. Is it Family Guy? Family Guy has a similar kind of run through the city, don't they? Or it could be another show, I can't remember. But yeah, leave your comments. No Condom Podcast. And would you do Marge without a condom? For sure, eh?
Marge?
Yeah.
What about Selma?
Ooh, Selma. Yeah, I'd do Selma. Facts. That's the facts of life.
Right.
Yeah. There's not really any like female Simpsons character that I wouldn't do besides Maggie. On that note, we're out. Peace.